Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with Obsidian and Flint, he's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrived back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground. Each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. Let's do a sound check. See if there's any lag in the Wi-Fi. Hello, hello. Let's do a sound check. Yep, it's working. Okay, so we're just gonna work off the phone microphone because my other ones are not working. Alrighty, so tonight is Natural Tool Friday. So we're gonna be using antlers and hammer stones and that kind of thing. Natural tools, and I gotta do a rock to point, which means I'm gonna start off with a regular piece of rock. Like this is Obsidian. I can start with that one. Also got a natural rock from Texas. I can start with this one. This might be interesting. We'll start with both. How's that? And remind me if I'm forgetting something. Let's look to see who is in the chat. This is a 2-hour live stream, so I got plenty of time. Stick around if you want to see some Flintknapping. I probably will not get to it right away. I'm going to do some shout-outs. Yeah. Jorge Valadez is here. Jesse is here. Kiefer's. Ed is here. Flixcard. Graylin. Tommy Taylor. Martin Hill is here. Ross Wellman is here. Good evening, good evening. Alan Cole. Let's see who else with the whole crew, right? Mr. Jim is here. Stoneface is here. Ferdo Joe, howdy, howdy. Bushy's here. Walter Sullivan, first on air I've heard of. Beautiful work. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I do these 3 times a week. Walter. Let's see. Who else is in the house? Charles Rooker is here. Sound is good. Let the good times roll. Awesome, awesome. We got a super chat in there somewhere. Jared is here. Who else? Who else? Alan Cole gave me $5 for Heart of Texas Fuel Fund, Brady or Bust. Yes, yes. I'm leaving in a couple days. Mac Bales is here. Did I already say that? Yeah, we got the whole crew almost. It's a little bit too late for the internationals. We usually have 4 or 5 internationals. I don't see very many new people commenting yet. They'll probably ask questions later. But I'll be trying to keep up with the chat. But I'll be doing napping and chatting. And I'm using my other phone to check the chat because it's hard for me to use the phone that I'm filming with. I'm filming with a phone. Right? So instead of bringing my computer into the shop, I bring my spare phone into the shop to check. And it also helps me to check the sound and all that. Okay, I can do the same thing on my computer, but my computer takes up a lot more space. Hey, Bill LaRoche says he's from Canada. We've got someone from Africa. Tortlanator is from Africa. Awesome. Let's see. Scott Pritchard is from Indiana. Cool, cool. We got new people. It looks like a few that are commenting. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them. If not, oh well. I don't always get to the questions. All right, so what can we do with this obsidian? It's just found like this in nature. Yeah, right on top of the dirt. This is dirt obsidian. You never heard of dirt obsidian sitting on top of the dirt? Now you know. This is dirt chert. It's just sitting on top of the dirt. Also, these are dirt rocks. They just sit on top. Yeah, you can call them dirt rocks if they're buried too, but then I'd call them buried rocks. But these were not buried. These are surface finds. Okay, so you can just pick them up in different places in the United States. I think this one is from Oregon. Okay, so it's going to be obsidian. Obsidian is real. It is a real thing. It is a volcanic glass. And you can make arrowheads out of it by just hitting it with stones and antlers and bones. Yeah. Stones, bones, and antlers. But it has natural defects. So don't get your hopes too high when you get some of this stuff. It's not always great. Okay? It's not always easy to get the shape that you want either, especially if you're brand new. The brand new guys always want to do the most possible in the shortest amount of time. Yeah. I don't understand it. It looks kind of easy because the people that have been doing it a while are the ones that are on YouTube, mostly. Because it's difficult to make a video of Flintknapping unless you've done it for a while. Oops. Yeah, this is very snap in half-ish, isn't it? Snap right in half. And I didn't even hit the end of it. It's just hit in the middle. Can I still use this? Yeah, I can make 2 arrowheads. Where's my little... I made a little arrowhead today just for practice. We might get back to this. Do I have another? I've got more of these. That's not the only dirt rock I have for obsidian. Yeah, and I don't get upset when I break them like that. If I did, I'd already be dead. Yeah, from a heart attack. So let's see. Now that I know that it's going to break real easy, let's try another one. Let's try to see if we can break this one too, right? Yeah. It's got natural bumps from nature. Nature did this. Nature creates natural bumps in the obsidian, in case you didn't know. Okay? Some people get all excited and think, oh, natives might have tested it. And they might have tested that and seen if it was any good. And they said, nah. No, it's nature does that. How do I know? Because this is good stuff. Yeah. The reason why it wasn't used is probably because there's so much of it just laying around. Yeah, they have what they call flows, where there's bunches of it just sitting there on the surface like rivers of obsidian. And there's so much of it that you can't nap it all. Yeah. Believe it or not. We'll see if our grandchildren are able to find that much. Usually when there's something good, it doesn't last. Yeah. We'll see. Never know. Flintknapping might go out of style and then no one's going to be doing it except a very few like us. And there'll still be plenty around for our grandkids on the surface. They'll eventually start mining this stuff and there's like tons of it. Literally thousands of millions of tons of it underground. We're just scratching the surface. Yeah. So to speak. Alright, let's see. I think the hammerstone is a little bit too harsh on this material. I'm going to have to hit it harder, and that's not a good deal because I could end up breaking it in half again. I was having to hit this kind of hard to get it to flake with that hammerstone, and that's one of the reasons why it snaps in half, because, you know, if you hit it really hard, that's what happens. But you can't avoid it. Yeah, it's unavoidable. You got to hit it hard in many cases, especially if you want to knock off big chunks. All right, let's see here. Prime time tonight. Someone said this is prime time. Hey, Red-Eyed Patriot or Michael is here. Our moderator, Dockenstein, is here. Who else is showing up that's part of the crew that I didn't see? Everyone's showing up once I start napping. What do we got? Let's see. Talking about people who have some beautiful material. Danny Collins said you could nap for 100 lifetimes at Glass Buttes and not make a dent. Yeah, I've seen the rivers of obsidian up there. There's several different people that have made videos of the obsidian infinity, so to speak. All right. Why is that funny? I don't know. Let's see here. Who else we got? Okay, I said hi to Dockenstein. Red-Eyed Patriots here. Let's see, who else? Okay, well, PC Gamer from India. We have internationals in the house for sure. Timothy Lithic is here. Howdy. Gonna do bottle bottom while I listen and watch. All right, awesome. Bottle bottom counts. Oh yes. In fact, it's good. It's a good glass to nap. See what we can get out of these little rocks. There's actually bazillions of these little ones up there on Glass Buttes. Bazillions. But most people say, nah, I don't want to nap the little ones because they're little. I like big ones. All right. There's other guys that nap the bigums. How do I do it? I don't know how to do this. No. How do I make something out of this? It looks so chunky. Gotta get thinner. How do I make it thinner? I don't know. I need to make it really, really thin, because if not, it won't look good. I can make a thick arrowhead, but then it looks like a tourist shop arrowhead. Yeah. We don't want that. Even though that's a safe way to do things. Just keep it thick. Yeah. You want to make it look like it's fancy. Yeah, people like to see the fancy stuff. Can you make fancy stuff by just using antlers and stones and bones? Oh yes. It's a little bit of more of a hassle to do it with natural tools than it is with copper or metals. But a lot of people enjoy it. I wouldn't say I enjoy it all that much, but I can do it to an extent. And the more I tend to enjoy it, the better the better the results I get. If I really don't like what I'm doing, or if I don't really like what I'm napping, the results are usually not that good. So I've got to at least enjoy it a little bit. And when I make smaller pieces like this, I enjoy it more than making a larger piece. I don't like making larger pieces. Not on video anyway. But I do have some larger pieces I will nap, even though I don't like doing it. I still got a big chunk from Danny Collins that I will nap as soon as the weather gets better, yes. Because I got to experiment outdoors. When I nap that big chunk of obsidian, I'm going to be outdoors. I'm not going to be here in the shop because I need to zoom out. It's a huge, gigantic boulder, almost. Well, it's not a boulder. It's a big chunk. It's like 22 inches long. And I got to experiment with my new camera and see if that works. I don't want to go to the same old camera phone to film the gigantor piece of obsidian. I want it to look good. I've been trying. I can't figure out how to make these videos look good from a distance. I've got experience on these close-up videos, but from a distance, I'm not good at it. Yeah. So people have been waiting a long time for that big old chunk of obsidian. Yep. Gonna have to wait longer because I'm gonna be going on the road for a month. Yep. And I'm not taking it with me. Nope. I'm not taking it. It's in a safe place where no one can break it. Where no one can steal it. Who would steal a big chunk of obsidian? I don't know. Around here, I don't have to worry about that. No one steals anything out here. You can leave stuff out front. And one of the cool things is, even when you have stuff out front and you put a sign on it saying free, no one takes it. Still. I go for walks around the neighborhood. People set stuff out in their front yard that they want to give away. It says free on it. It's just still sitting there. It'll sit there for a few days before someone grabs it. So even the free stuff doesn't disappear. So, but I got my big obsidian chunks safe and sound anyway. Indoors. Yeah. Although I'm moving most of my obsidian stuff outdoors in the summer, and I'm going to keep my regular rocks, my flint and chert, indoors. See, I got the opposite now. I've got my chert and stuff, or I had my chert and stuff outdoors, and my obsidian indoors. I'm going to switch them around because obsidian is not as prone to heat, prone to freeze cracks and heat damage. It's not as prone to that as my other stones. I say heat damage, but I don't think any of my stones have gotten heat damage. What does that mean? I think I misspoke. Right? I don't have to worry about heat damage on my regular stones, the flint and chert, or anything like that. So, scratch that one. But frost damage or freeze cracks, yes. So I want to keep my flints and chert indoors, all of it, and then move all my obsidian outdoors. I have outdoor boxes that are in my yard. They're called deck boxes. But I don't have no deck. No. What the heck? I don't have a deck. I'm going to make a deck. Yeah. So what is this going to be? This is going to be arrowhead. Yes? Yes. So moving all my Once I get back from my trip, I got some stuff to do in the yard, and I'm gonna move all my Obsidian outside. Start filming some more Obsidian videos. See how that goes. I still got little kids who are relatives that come over. I don't want them stepping on the Obsidian, so I gotta designate an area in the yard for me to nap. Yeah, I know where I'm gonna sit up. And no one's allowed in the restricted zone. I should put out like caution tape. Yeah. Make it look all dangerous looking. Obsidian zone. Something like that. What's the Obsidian zone, Uncle Patrick? Can I go and check it out? No, that's why it's got like the warning tape on it. Caution tape. Yeah, but how do I know what to look for if I don't know what it looks like? I can just hear it. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Worry too much. Even my relatives, they worry too much. Usually it's the comment section people that worry too much. But no, I got relatives that worry a lot too. I can't win. Everybody's such a worrywart. Right? We used to call them worrywarts. I was watching some videos today. The popular video is you ask these people questions that used to be common knowledge. I mean, they don't even know, what's the capital of Mexico? Things like that. Or what's even, they don't even know the capital of the United States. So they say, United States has a capital city? Yeah, United States has a capital city. They don't even know that, right? So I was watching these videos. But they know other stuff. Right? They know all the Kardashians, for example, where I don't know the Kardashians. I know that Mexico City is the capital of Mexico. Stuff like that, but I don't know about the Kardashians, as an example. They know a bunch of other stuff that has to do with celebrities that I have no idea. If I go onto a YouTube channel that's run by a millennial and look in the comments section, I have no idea what they're talking about. They got all this new lingo, especially when it comes to memes and games. You ask people what the lingo is these days, and they know. I'm lost. If you ask me what these game lingos are, and what this means or that means, I'm lost. But I know what country the Amazon jungle is in, and all this trivia. We used to call it trivia, right? Today's trivia is all around memes. Yeah, memes and celebrities, I guess. You think I'm Gen Z? No, I've got one daughter who's a millennial, and the rest of my kids are Gen Z. Yeah, but Gen Zs don't run too many YouTube channels. But I watch a lot of millennial YouTube channels. So yeah, we're all gonna meet up in Brady, Texas. Be there or be square. Yeah. Where's Brady, Texas? Back in the day, we used to have to read the maps. Yeah, if you didn't know where things were, you just break out the maps. Nowadays, there's no maps. What? A map? Yeah. And we used to have something called MapQuest. Something like that. When it first came out. Now we just got Google Maps. We got these Google cars running around and photographing everything. Yeah. Google cars. so that we don't have to have maps no more. In the military, we had to always carry a map. Well, I always had to carry the map. Yeah. Well, not always. When I first got in, I was just a little munchkin, peon, whatever, tenderfoot. But after a while, they say, hey, you need to go to training and get yourself some rank so you can carry the map. Yeah. Carry them orders in your fancy satchel. Yeah. I used to carry orders in a fancy satchel. I don't want to talk about that stuff. That's more pain and suffering than Flintknapping. Yeah. I went straight infantry. Well, mechanized infantry. Yeah, so I thought it was going to be fun and games. Yeah. I was also combat engineer. My initial training, I had all kinds of different training sessions. My initial training at basic and AIT was light wheeled vehicle mechanic, because I had two options. It was light wheeled vehicle mechanic or some other stupid thing at the time I signed up. If I wanted to be in the Army and choose where I was supposed to choose where I wanted to do the basic. They would put me in whatever if I said just put me in whatever. But I wanted to choose the time and place for my basic training. I wanted it to be in winter and where there's forest. I did not want to be in desert. No. So I chose Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri. Yeah. Fort Leonard Wood. We call it Lost in the Woods. And that was perfect. I went in December. And it snowed and it was icy and it was beautiful. Yeah. We did bivouac out in the wintertime. It was nice. You might think I'm crazy, but I can't stand being in the heat. But then when I got to my duty station in Texas, that's when the misery started, I think. Oh, yes. Oops. Can't do that. Can't be hitting the camera. This is my good camera. This is my good phone camera. All right, so what do I do once I get to this point? Well, the easy part's over. Now comes the hard part. Getting it nice and even and nice and thin. Thinner than this. Yeah. Do I want to make one of these down here? I don't know. Can I make one of these down here? I can make something that looks like that. I made this the other day. But this is with copper tools. Yes. You can get them nice and thin with copper tools. See that? Yeah. But you can use steel, you can use brass, you can use aluminum tools. You can use whatever you want. You can get used to using almost anything. Pliers and screwdrivers. That's the way I started. So what do I do with this now? How do I make it thin? You gotta say the magic words. Yeah. And it's not abracadabra, although that might help. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not going to help. It might actually work by saying abracadabra a few times. It's amazing what a state of mind can do. If abracadabra makes you happy, you will nap better. Yep. If you nap all frustrated and angry, your point's going to look frustrated and angry too. And point, the workpiece, it's going to look frustrated and angry. More than it already is. It doesn't like this process at all. No. It resists and fights. It puts up a fight with every hit. Yeah. Most of the time, especially with this kind of stuff, I'm looking at it now to see where's some defects. There's one there, but there might be some other defects. Now this one, I put that in there. It's an incipient crack. I got to watch out for that because it can go right across. Any cracks near the middle will sneakily go right across when you're trying to do stuff. Sneakily, yeah. I think I'm just going to continue with this, but let me check the chat before I go to the next step. The next step is the hardest part of all of Flintknapping. Okay? Just so you know. I already did the easy part. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got in the chat? Moonlights is selfish. What is that kind of name? Stoneface has got toolboxed. Just got to get to the post office. Fertile Joe, Germany, right after the big one. Okay, what are we talking about? Who else we got in here? Dawkinstein. I think I said hi to Dawkinstein already. Hey guys, not back to napping yet, but I'm good enough that I can shave down some cedar arrow shafts. Oh yeah, I gotta do I have a viburnum arrow shaft. I forgot to bring my arrow straightener. Remember that little video I gathered some viburnum? I still have that one that's in the video. Whatever happened to that one in the video? I still got it, but I forgot to get my arrow straightener. Do I have one in here? See, what I do is I cold straighten. Let me see. Where is it? Hold on. Hold on. I was gonna do this. Don't worry. I was gonna do it, but I forgot to bring my arrow straightener. And no, it's not a joke. It's an actual thing. So this is the piece that I gathered during the video. This viburnum, it's one of my favorites. It's actually arrowwood viburnum, which exists here up in Vermont. Now, when I was in Texas, we did not have arrowwood viburnum. And, I keep them in water so they don't die. But I cold straighten first before I peel these. And the other one is what they call silky dogwood, which I also cold straighten before I peel them. Right? Right. And I had to wait, though. I wait a week or two before I cold straighten these, because if I don't, and I try to straighten them, they get all dented up. The arrow straightener is a wrench-like thing. It makes dents in the wood if it's too wet, too green. So I had to let them rest for a week or two before I cold straighten these. And then after they're all cold straightened, I bundle them up. And why do I bother with these when I can just buy the carbon Walmart arrows? Because this is part of natural tool making. Yeah. It's part of nature. No, it's part of ancestral skills. You make the arrows out of these suckers. And I need my arrow straightener to get that last bend out of the bottom. But I don't have it. What can I use instead? What do I got? Any wrench-like type thing can work. I don't know if this is going to be able to get enough leverage. Yeah, it's not going to do it. What can I use? Maybe I should just walk into the house and get it. If I use this, I can get leverage on it, but then this is really harsh. How about on this side? This is more rounded. Yeah, do that. Just do that. And when it's green like this, you can bend it. You don't need to steam it. Oops. Well, it broke right there. You know what that means? That means I can cut that part off. Yeah. See, it was too curved to get it straight without breaking it. So I just I'm going to cut that off. Yeah. Easy peasy. It's long enough. Yeah. So let me cut that before it's too late. Because if I leave it, I'll forget that it's ruined. Yeah. How do I cut it? Well, let's get a rock. Yeah, but wait, it's supposed to be napping. What are you doing? It's not supposed to be. Did I say it's supposed to be napping? I said it was going to be some napping. I didn't say it's supposed to be. Yeah. Not supposed to. So I just go around and around and around. Just the way I always do it. Well, this is the way I do it with stone tools, yes. It takes a while, both in knapping and in making stuff with stone tools. It takes a lot longer. I need something that's a little bit better. A little bit thinner edged. This is going to take too long. And by long, I mean forever. Where's that thin flake? I got some thin ones around here somewhere. I guess this is kind of thinner. Yeah, but it needs to be sharpened. And you guys that want to see knapping, you can just go to one of my other videos, okay? Sorry. Let's make a saw blade out of this. Yeah. Have I done this before? I don't know. Let's see, where is it good? Spot on here. Yeah, see, we're getting somewhere now. We're cooking with gas. And the wavy edge helps. Okay? So, we just need to cook with gas a little longer. And we'll be alright. I should put down a leather pad, huh? Because I know I'm going to ruin my pants. Where's the leather pad? What'd you do with it? I'm so absent-minded. What do they call it? Yeah. There we go. This is the only time I use leather pads is when I'm woodworking. Yeah. But you see how I'm doing it, right? This is a piece of Fort Payne chert. And I like the waviness. That works good for saws. And I should be wrapping this part because this is going to cut. If I'm going to apply some pressure on here, so, or I am applying pressure, so. Hold on. You thought this was just going to be straightforward, easy peasy stuff. I don't have anything smaller than this. But you wrap this end, and that way you don't cut yourself. Right? Beautiful. Okay. It's even better if you have it in a haft. Like a piece of wood or something. But this works. Yep. Why does it work when it's wavy? Or when it's wonky? Just try it. Look at all that. Just try it. You'll see. And when you're doing this out in the field, it's a pain in the butt. It takes forever to cut down these suckers when you're out in the field with just stone tools. See that? But you can do it out in the field with stone tools. It takes like 10 times longer, but you can still do it. Okay, so the reason why I cut it there is because it broke there. All right, so, and then I cold straighten these. It got all curvy again because I'm messing with it. And I make arrows. This, like I said, this one is silky dogwood. And I've planted some of these in my backyard too. And they grow fast. Now, the thing is, you don't want to harvest them right away. You got to wait 2 or 3 years. Yeah, you don't want to do it the first year. Although some of them might get pretty big the first year. If you're lucky. But, no, it takes like 2 or 3 years to get good shoots from scratch. And to get a nice plant that yields lots of suckers takes 5 years, I think. But like the individual, see, I've planted some individual ones. Anyway, once I get this fairly straight, I bundle these together. I'm only going to do one of each. This one plus the viburnum cold straighten. And I have an arrow straightening wrench. It does a better job than my fingers. But I cold straighten these first with the bark on. And then I shaved the bark off and bundled them. We still have sound? Yeah, but that doesn't look like they're staying straight. Yeah, it's because I don't have my wrench. The wrench actually it helps me direct the bending better. Okay. Anyways, once I get these cold straightened, then I peel them up. Where is the peeling? No, I can peel with the other side of this because it has almost a 90. How lucky is that? It has almost a 90-degree edge. That's excellent for scraping. So I leave a little bit on the end. I don't scrape all the bark off. I start about 2 inches from the bottom. That's a leather pad just so I don't mess up my jeans. Yeah. Sometimes some of these shoots will have really sticky sap. Different varieties of plants have different saps. Yeah. Sounds funny. Okay, so we just do this. And this one's still alive, you can tell. It's very green. It's much easier to remove the bark when it's green. You don't realize how much easier it is until you encounter the situation. Oh yes. And I gathered these like at the same time. There was still snow on the ground when I gathered these, so I guess it's been sitting there for 3 weeks. Yeah. Anyway, easy peasy, right? And I just bundle these together. I keep straightening them. You know, I'll bundle them and I'll leave them there for a week, and I'll take them back out and I'll cold straighten again. When they're fully dry, I don't cold straighten. I heat straighten whatever they need after they're dry. It takes about 6 months to dry. But in the meantime, the first month is critical on the cold straightening. Yeah. And it gets, you know, it goes back to its shape, but you just keep doing this, and as it dries, it holds its shape. And this, you don't need to use a lot of heat. That's the advantage, okay? You don't need to build a fire and spend all kinds of time doing it like that. You can just cold straighten without fire when it's green. Okay, this one was already pretty good. This is the viburnum. And the same deal with this, you just scrape. I'm going to scrape here. And like I said, it's so much easier to remove the bark if you don't know the edge. This is what the edge should look like. And you can burinate, you can run flakes this way to get that kind of edge. It's excellent for what we need. Same goes for making foreshafts and atlatl darts. Same procedure. Exact same old procedure for atlatl darts. They're just big arrows. Okay. Now this one is over 36 inches. I'm not sure if I'll be able to use the whole length because sometimes the viburnum has little defects and diseases. Yeah. But you see how I'm using that scraper? Just see that? And then this side is the saw. So I could bring this out in the field. I just need to wrap this end when I'm sawing. Okay? And you can flip it over. It works better the other way. Yeah, like that. Let me see. So sometimes the viburnum has these little knots. On the silky dogwood, they're so fantastically great for arrows that there's hardly any knots through most of it. As you get toward the top, there is some branches, and that's what you got to worry about. But I think there's enough length in there for an arrow, even though I broke the bottom or snapped some of the bottom. Yeah. I think that's long enough for an arrow. I'll measure it in a minute. So this one here is very long. So what that means is I'm probably going to use just the bottom part for the arrow. And whatever's up there I can use for a foreshaft later for something else. Or several foreshafts depending on the pith. If there's not too much pith in there, I can use it. You don't want too much pith in the foreshafts. No, it's better to have the minimum possible. Yeah. How do you know how much pith there is? Right there. This is not too bad. I've seen a lot worse than that. So that's like a 1/16 of an inch. Let's get out the modern equipment and see. You can make little gauges for yourself so you know if you want to do it primitively. Yeah, it's a 1/16 of an inch, which is okay. If it starts to get to be about 1/8 of an inch pith, it's too much pith. Okay, you don't want that much in the foreshafts or arrows. You want to keep as little as possible. This is a good piece. This is excellent. The only problem with it is it's got some branching, right? Like right here. As you sand it down, sometimes they get minimized. You got to watch for those branches. Now the discovery of Utsi in the Alps, right? He had viburnum arrows, or incomplete, mostly incomplete viburnum arrows in his quiver, and they had knots in them like this. So he didn't care about the knots. That's why I bring that up. Okay, so this is already pretty straight. Same deal, you just cold straighten and then bundle them together. And you leave a little bit of bark so it helps prevent splitting at the end. Okay? And you leave that bark on the other side too. Now the total length of this one is kind of rare for viburnum. Usually the silky dogwood is the longest shoots. This one is a 43. Very long, very unusual. And this silky one is 28. Usually I like 33. And I think that's what I cut that at before I removed the bottom part that broke. All right, but usually it's the other way around. Usually the silky dogwoods are the long ones and the viburnums are the shorter ones. But I can use that, whatever it was, 23. I can use that for sure. Yeah. But usually I like to start with 33 inches or 32 inches on an arrow shoot. So I got plenty of room. And if it's shorter, I just add a foreshaft, depending on what I'm doing. All right. And I usually add foreshafts anyway, no matter what the wood is. Viburnum is kind of an exception because it's so strong. You can put an arrowhead directly onto the main shaft. But usually you pick a stronger wood than the main shaft when you're making a foreshaft. Use a stronger wood than the main shaft. Okay, all right. Why? Because it holds the arrowhead better. Yeah. All right, so what are we doing? We're losing our arrowhead preform. That's what we're doing. There it is. And we're not checking the chat. I'm going to see if there's questions. Come on. Did I like my own? There, I liked my own live stream. All right, I've seen people use heat from, let's see, come on. I've seen people use heat from a fire to help straighten them. Yeah, but only when they're dry. Dry heat on dry wood When you don't have dry wood, you cold straighten with no heat. Or you can use steam on something green. So wet heat or steam when it's green, dry heat when it's dry. Don't listen to internet culture, because people just go straight from green wood to the fire to straighten the green wood, and it's not good. Why? Because it causes cracking and stuff. They don't show you what it looks like in a month or two after they've heat straightened it when it's still green. They don't show you all the cracks, all the checks, all the inconsistent areas. Some areas are dry and some are not, and it gets all warpy. So it defeats the purpose. Okay? Cold straighten when it's green. Don't put them on a fire yet. Okay? Don't listen to internet culture. All right. Let's see. The primitive gentleman says, Patrick, which do you prefer between solid copper boppers and lead-filled caps? If you had to pick 3 sizes only for boppers, what sizes would you pick? Okay, 3 sizes for boppers. 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 14 ounce. 4, 8, 14. If I had my choice, solid copper or lead-filled, I got to admit, I like the lead-filled better, but they wear out quicker. And they deform. So I go through the lead-filled boppers too fast. It's more expensive for me to actually use lead-filled, but I like them better. So right now I'm using copper, solid copper. Okay, so 4, 8, and 14 ounce boppers at a minimum. But the 8 ounce bopper is my favorite. And you can get the ones in between. I like to have it in betweeners too, like 6 ounce bopper and a 10 ounce bopper. I like to have a set of 4 or 5. But the 8 ounces is my favorite overall for everything. And I like the lead filled, but they wear out too fast, so I prefer to buy the solid copper. Just because it doesn't wear out as fast. It doesn't deform either. Let's see here. And I'm gonna trace the life of this viburnum shaft. I'm gonna mark it so you'll know the life. I'm gonna make different videos with this particular piece that I gathered the other day. Okay? So hopefully I'll be able to make an arrow from it. The only thing I see there might be a glitch in the whole process is this right here. See how it's really, really wonky? I might not be able to incorporate that into the arrow. So if I cut it right here, I still got a long length. I still should have like at least a 40-pound spine on this arrow down here. See, how long is it? As long as I have a 40-pound spine, I'm good. What does that mean? Don't worry about it. See, this is 29 inches. I can still use it even though let's say I'm not able to straighten this part out, which I probably won't be able to. It'll probably crack if I try to straighten this little spot here. See that? And I can't leave that wonkiness in there. So I'm probably going to have to cut it right there. And I can use the rest of it. As long as there's no other wonky spot. There's nodes and stuff, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. It's just when there's a kink in it like that, I can't use it. It's just too wonky. Yeah. But see, if I can use this lower piece from that wonky spot to here is like 12 inches or more. I can use that for a foreshaft for something else. It's 13 inches. So that's 13, and then the other one is 23, or I don't know what it was. Let's just make sure. 29. Yeah, that's plenty for an arrow. So I'll probably cut that right there where that is. Yeah, unfortunately, can't use that area. That's just too wonky. Okay. But the silky dogwood doesn't have that issue. It's usually smooth all the way down, but it's not as strong as viburnum. This stuff breaks much easier in a wet or green state or a dry state. The silky dogwood is not as strong. It's a lot like red osier. The silky dogwood is a lot like red osier dogwood. And you can kind of see it's a little bit, well, this one's not reddish. Right here on this side it is. But it's a lot like red osier dogwood. They're related plants. Okay? All right. What else we got? Stampy Dragon. What would you say is the best material to learn flint knapping with? The best material. How many times have people asked me that question? 200,000 times. And it's always difficult to answer that. Why? Because it's hard to decide. You know, high grade stone, raw stone, the highest grade raw stone you can possibly get your hands on is the best. But new guys are not able to recognize what the highest grade of raw stone is. Then you might say Georgetown, but then Georgetown has different grades in it, so you're going to buy some Georgetown thinking it's the best, and chances are it's not going to be the best, because high grade Georgetown is only 5% of stuff that looks like Georgetown, maybe 10%. The kind that I recommend for beginners called Georgetown is only 10% of the Georgetown looking type stuff that's out there. So 90% chance you're not going to get it. That's why it's hard to recommend. So I recommend bottle bottoms, because every bottle bottom, just about, except the thin ones, are going to be easy to knap, relatively speaking. Man-made glass, yes. Man-made glass is the best stuff to start on. Let me think what else. There is no consistent natural stone. The only consistent materials are man-made materials. Okay? Obsidian is not consistent. Some obsidian is crud. Some of it is excellent. You'll never know as a beginner what's what. Some heat treats are excellent. Some are crappy. As a beginner, you're not going to know what's what. Some Georgetown is excellent. Some is crappy. You're not going to know which what. Some Fort Payne chert is beautifully, tremendously fantastic, and some is absolute crud. Some hornstone, one of my favorites, also has different grades, high grades and low grades. You're not going to know what's what. So it's hard to answer. Most people just say, yeah, whatever is free, that's the best to start on. Go get flakes from a Knapping. I'm going to answer, yeah, I'll answer that question whenever it comes up, but it's a difficult question to answer. Somebody asked me, what do I do for a living? Well, I'm retired now. I used to do drafting for a living. I get my Social Security checks now. Yay. Which are not bad. And I also do Flintknapping. Yeah, I'm a professional flint napper. That's my part-time business. So that's what I do. I've seen people use it. Okay, what did I miss? We got river cane here. I love for arrows and atlatl darts. Yes, stone hook. Hey, stone hook is here. River cane is good, but there's various grades of river cane too, you know. Yeah. I've worked beautiful river cane, which I think actually is not river cane. I think that they've imported some Japanese arrowwood bamboo and stuff into different areas of the country as ornamentals or something, because I've worked with some river cane that was absolutely fantastically beautiful. And then I've worked with river cane that's got such wonky nodes on it that I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Are you making a magic wand? I can make a magic wand, yes. But that's not what I'm making. I was just showing you guys how to do the arrow. Start off the arrow shafts. Yay! Jesse gave me a $10 super chat. Thank you, Jesse. No comment attached. Scott Goldsberry is here. Hello. Yeah, those were some cold barracks in the metal Quonset huts at Fort Lost in the Woods. Yeah, our barracks was fairly new, though. It wasn't too bad, but I prefer the bivouac to the barracks, you know, with the shelter halves, believe it or not. I hated the barracks. Oh, dang. Yeah. Just the memories of that gives me PTSD. And sometimes it was so cold outside, we did our PT indoors. So then we got to smell everybody's funky smells. That was terrible. Let me see here. All right, so I think that's it. Primitive Gentleman says, drafter is a really cool job. I'm a design engineer myself. I work with many drafters. Awesome. Yeah, my last job that I had, I was in the engineer slot before I said, well, I'm not going to go back to work. They laid me off, but I said, I'm not going to go back to work. No. Yeah, I was in oil business, not oil business, but I worked for a company that built machinery for the oil field, and they got ups and downs and stuff, so they lay off and then they rehire and then they lay off, or they transfer you, or they ask you if you want to relocate and blah blah blah. I said, no, this layoff, I'm done. Yeah. Let's see. That was a long time ago. 12 years ago. Or more. Let me see. Do you have to pay taxes on your auction sales? Oh, yes. That's a silly question. Let's see. It's not that much, though. As long as you keep it under a certain amount. Like if you're making under $25,000 a year, your taxes are not that high. Of course, if you're a sole proprietor, you got to do the FICA tax. That gets you. But the regular income tax is not high at all. Okay, I think that's it. Let's see. John Nickel says, I've been trying to achieve the largest obsidian spalls I can. Oops, come on. Been trying to achieve the largest obsidian spalls that I can. I've been using a 2-inch trailer ball. Any suggestions for the best tool to make extra large spalls? You need to get solid copper boppers. You need to get solid copper like this to knock off big spalls of obsidian. Don't use steel. Use either copper or aluminum, big old bar. Okay? And there's guys that sell this. I forgot this name. I bought this from another Flintknapper at the Knapping. And I have another one that's bigger. Where is it? It's probably not available. But yeah, use this solid copper bar. I have a 2-inch diameter one. This one is like a 3/4 inch diameter. I bought a big one and a small one. This is what you spall obsidian with. Big copper bar. 2 inches I recommend 2 inches diameter for the big spalls. Okay, all right. It's a good question. Yeah, and they're not cheap. John Nickel, yeah. They're not cheap. Now, you can also use hammerstones. On obsidian, big obsidians, you can get a big hammerstone. This is not a big hammerstone, but you know what I mean? You can get hammerstones and spall obsidian with hammerstones. I don't recommend using steel for obsidian, big obsidian spalls, because it crushes the edge too much, unless you can tolerate it. Hammerstones will also crush the edge a lot, but somehow it doesn't as much for guys just starting out, I guess. I don't like using hammerstones on obsidian. I'd rather use a big Antler, but for these big boulders you're talking about, yeah, you need a hammerstone because they don't make antlers big enough. And someone might say, I got a big, huge, gigantic moose antler. All right. I'm not talking to you. You want to use big old, gigantic $200 moose antlers? Go ahead. It's cheaper to buy the copper. Okay, that's it. Let's get back to the obsidian before I lose it. I lose track of it and get too distracted. Where is it? So did you catch the arrow thing? I like working on arrow shafts. Yeah, I got a bunch of them already saved up. I'm gonna start doing tests. Where is my flakers? Oh, I know what. I can't find anything because I rearranged them looking for other stuff. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna start pressure flaking here. Where's my pads? Okay, my pressure flaker. I'm not gonna clean up this time. Come on. Where is my... I can't find my favorite. I'm looking right at it probably. Let me see. That's not my favorite. That's not it. That's not it. No, my favorite's not in here. Where's my favorite? I have a favorite pressure flaker. This is one of my favorites. Where's the other one? Okay, here's one. This one's not my favorite, but it's okay. All right, there it is. These two are my favorites. Pistol grip type. And there I go. I'm already making a mess. Working with Obsidian. All right, so I'm just going to pressure flake the edge. Yeah, actually, I want to use that one. Let's try this one. And I got to use 2 gloves. Okay, so hold on. I got to use 2 gloves because I'm going to start bleeding everywhere if I don't. Yeah, but I've seen some guys on YouTube don't use any gloves at all, and they don't bleed like losers like you. Yeah, I know. I don't know why it is that I have to use 2 gloves. Or if I don't, I'll make a big old mess. Yeah. So, can you see what I'm doing? No? Probably not. Sometimes. Once in a while. Only when I shut up? Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that one. Okay. See, the brow tine is the hardest tine of all on these antlers. So this is a small antler with a brow tine. Works good. Works great. Oops. I need to round this off more. Yeah, it's too worn down. Let's round it. It's too flat on one side. I wore it down last time. What was that? That was the cheater sander. Yeah. Instead of taking forever to sharpen these or to adjust or to grind them down, I use the cheater sander. It takes forever to grind down the antler on these stones. But, you do it like this. Circular motion. Yeah. Why circular? Because it allows you more time in contact with the stone. Yeah. You'll figure it out. Yeah, like that. That's the way it goes. Yes. See, that was a long flake. I wanted a long flake. Can I get exactly the flakes I want? I wish. But yeah, the answer is no. I don't get the flakes I want usually. I can get close. Some people can get really close, but nothing's guaranteed in Flintknapping. Nothing is guaranteed. Except one thing. Lots of pain and suffering. Yeah. That's guaranteed. Yeah, I like it. You're just talking about pain and suffering and you say you like it? What are you, some kind of weirdo? I was going to say he don't know me too well, do he? All right. But no, I don't like pain and suffering. I like that flake. Yeah. That's what I like. This is what I call heavy pressure, because I'm exerting a lot of pressure. Okay? And I like it to be rounded because it gives me an opportunity to kind of adjust. There's just subtle adjustments that I can do to be more comfortable in the pressure flaking. If it's rounded. Right? Right. And not too pointy, because the pointy ones break off. Okay, that's too much pressure for me. Starting to get too thick for the pressure. I have to switch back to percussion. But I just wanted to taper that tip. Taper the tip? Yep, that's it. Yeah, but you're cheating on the Obsidian. It's so easy. I heard it was so easy. The internet says it's cool. It's easy. It's cool. Yeah, Obsidian is cool, but it's deceivingly easy. It looks like it's easy, but it can easily break too. And it can easily break in ways you don't want it to break. It is cool. You can do some amazing things with Obsidian. And yet you gotta dull it before you can sharpen it. Before you ask, why are you dulling it? You dumb? No, you gotta dull it before you can sharpen it. Yeah. Now here we go. We're going to thin it. This is going to be the hardest part of Flintknapping. I got to get it thinner than this. But I worked on the tip just so I can get that established. It just bugs me if it's not established and if it's not thin. The base, sometimes I skip it. I don't do the base all the time at first. Or I don't thin it down all the time. So the center line, I'm looking at center line here. When I'm starting to thin it down, the center line is from the very tip to the very base. Draw an imaginary line between those two. That's the center line. Now, if the center line doesn't look like it's in the center, you have to adjust the ends so that the center line is in the center. Right now, it looks pretty good. So whatever is not flat needs to be removed. So you look at the center line, and there's a lot of mass down here below the center line. And you can align the edge with the center line too. You can take that step and align the edge to be the center line as well, which helps. Yes. And you don't, this one's more wonky, but you can imagine a center line in there, and you can see where there's fat spots that need to be removed. I need a better background. Let me see. See, that needs to be removed. That's fat. That needs to be removed here. That needs to be removed a little bit. Okay. This needs to be removed up here to get it thinner. So that's what I'll be doing. Removing the fat spots. This right there needs to be removed. This right here needs to be removed. And it needs to be nice and straight. So that's the goal. That's what I'll be doing. Okay. And I should do the ends first, in case you don't know. If I don't do the ends first, that means I'm not paying attention to my own, or I'm not obeying my own rules. And sometimes I won't. Sometimes I won't obey my own rules. Why? I don't know. And sometimes I get mistakes, but that's okay. I got enough meat in there to fix mistakes if I make them. That mistake is called a step fracture. And sometimes when you hit the base like this, it breaks everything in half. Or it breaks the thing you're napping in half. So you got to be careful on this step. Just so you know. Why am I doing it then? It's actually the fastest way to get this thinner down here is to take flakes from the end like I'm doing. Okay, all right. Can you see with that whiter background? I need a bigger white background. So I'll be doing the same thing the other direction. Let's see, where's a better... It's a sandstone. This other one is quartzite. Two different stones. This one is mainly for grinding, although I use it for hammer stoning. This is mainly for hammer stoning, but I also use it for grinding. Okay, so figure that out. Yeah. Chew on that one for a minute. Okay. Oh, it didn't do it. Oh, well, it's going to be one of those days. I'm not going to get no respect. I don't expect any respect from the stone. No. If I don't get no respect, it's a normal day. Both with the stone and in life. Did someone give me a super chat right when I'm trying to do the most difficult part of Flintknapping? Jorge Valadez, 1999 super chat? Holy moly. Let me see. Okay. Once I stop banging in the stuff. Thank you, thank you. Did I see that right? Yes, I did. Wow, thank you. Brady Fun, 6 days and counting. Yes, it is. I'm going to leave in a couple of days. It takes me 4 days to get there. Yeah. It's 36 hours for me without stops. Driving. Yeah. I'm driving. No. Yes. I'm trying to focus on this. Hold on a second. Am I supporting? Barely. I'm barely supporting this. If I'm doing it right, I shouldn't have to support it very much. These hits are very snappy. Quick and snappy, which means it doesn't disturb the rock too much. If I go too slow, then it pulls on the rock. And that's not good. You don't want it to pull. You want it to just tear off those flakes very snappily. If it doesn't work, use pressure. Heavy pressure. Yeah, like that. We're getting thin. See how it's biting into the edge? It means we're getting thin. Come on. Yeah, look at that. Beauty. It's so much fun when it breaks too. I love it. All that work to get it thin and just have it break like that. It's so much fun and so awesome. It's such a beautiful stone too. Look at it. So beautiful. Mix up for everything. I wish. Right now, I don't care if the stone is beautiful. I just want it to nap and not break. Yeah, if you just do it right, it won't break. Okay. I don't get that very much anymore. I think people have learned that there's no right or wrong way to do it unless you break it. That's the only exception. Does that make sense? No? Going around in circles? There's no right or wrong way. There's no right way except not to break it. So that's where people get that idea that if I just do it right, it won't break. Well, it's the other way around. If it doesn't break, then you know you did it right. You can't just say, I'm going to start doing it right, and therefore it won't break. No, you never know, because you can be doing it right and it still breaks. And it flips from doing it right to doing it wrong. But it's the same thing. There's no difference between the right and wrong. Same thing, everything. Except sometimes it doesn't work. Get it? Got it. See, that's when it doesn't work. What is that? That's a mistake. Yeah. Bummer. I've been doing that a lot lately, actually. Trying to bite off more than I can chew. Most of the time, overshots are because you're biting off more than you can chew, which means it's beyond your skill level. That thinning flake was beyond my skill level. If I had not hit it as hard, it probably would have worked. Yeah. It would have not broke it. Come on. I need to hit this one really hard though. It's making me hit it hard. Yeah, but I want to see it where it doesn't make no mistakes. I don't learn nothing when you ruin it. Yeah, you do. You learn something. You learn what not to do. Yeah. Now, some people get upset when they're watching something that's a fail. But only in Flintknapping. They like watching other fails. There's lots of videos out there where these skateboarders are falling down all over the place and people watch it by the millions. But when it comes to Flintknapping, if you make a mistake, they go, change the channel. I didn't learn nothing. Loser. I need to see finesse. Yeah. Anyways. Maybe it's not that way anymore, but it used to be that way. I can still salvage it, yes. Very soon I'll be just going straight to pressure. The reason why I'm using percussion is because percussion thins it down much easier and better than pressure. See, I can't get one of those flakes with pressure flaker. Okay? That's why I'm using percussion. I get much bigger flakes and better thinning flakes with percussion. Okay? All right. But I take a risk. It is very risky. I see a bunch of trouble coming up. When there's a crunchy spot, you know, it's trouble. Yes, I know. Oh well. It's difficult to deal with the crunchy spots because you need smooth surfaces to run predictable flakes. That's not a smooth surface, so these flakes going through there are not predictable. The ones that will eventually be going through there. That's the hard part. Come on. I know you can do it. Yes. I want to get rid of that crunchiness. That helped a little bit. Got to make sure the surfaces are convex and smooth, or it's not going to work right. It's still all kind of wonky, but that's because of that mistake. It was looking pretty good as far as symmetry goes. Yeah. So it doesn't need to get any thinner than that. But it will, because I got to get this mess out of here. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, I got 35 minutes left. I can try to finish this one out. I always run out of time. I didn't take too long looking at those arrow shafts, did I? Let's see. How am I going to approach this? So, yeah, the hardest part of Flintknapping was that stage right there. Now we're going to go to a lesser difficult stage. of the pressure flaking to finish this up. All right, okay. I'm just doing basic shaping right now. I don't need to grind it very much for this basic shaping. It's all downward pressure. I need to get it symmetrical. So, I don't know what I'm going to make. Maybe a Humboldt. But then I need to put in some nice flaking if I do a Humboldt. Am I in the mood to do nice flaking? Nice long pressure flakes? No, because I'm using Antler. It's depressing. Yep. So yeah, I'm just going to go around the edges and make it symmetrical, okay? Same problem I had on Wednesday. It became oval shaped. To try to maximize the length, I had to make it an oval shape, and the same thing's happening this time. The hardest part of Flintknapping is preserving the length. And that's what everyone wants to see preserved. Makes sense. Because no one can do it. They want to know how to do it. How do you preserve the length? Well, by not breaking it. That's it. I don't know what else to say. You can take all the precautions in the world, but if it breaks, that's it. And you never know. The breaking rears its ugly head by surprise most of the time. Sometimes you know you're taking a big risk and you go, you know, this might break, but if it does, oh well. And then all of a sudden snap. And you go, dang it, I thought it was going to be oh well, but now I'm ticked. Yeah. Sometimes you think you can handle it, but then when it happens, you go, dang it. I thought I was going to handle it, but can't stand it. So yeah, I dull it before I can make more flakes. I can't be using this stone too much because it wears down really fast. So a lot of times I'll just use the hammer stone to grind it down. This wears down slower, but it doesn't create as much smoothness on the edge. The smoothness is good because it allows you to apply more pressure. If it's kind of jaggedy and nasty, then you can't apply as much pressure because it just kind of crumbles. But if I use this too much, it's one of my favorite stones. It goes away. Yeah. And then I don't have my sweet grinding stone anymore. And then go look for other ones. I got backups, but all these stones are different. So you have like nostalgia for your old stones. Like, oh, I used to have this really great sandstone for abrading, and I never had another one like it. Now, woe is me. That happens a lot with natural tool knapping. How do I know? I don't know. So here we go. We're going to do some nice flakes. Well, no. These are not going to be nice according to the internet experts. I took another overshot with pressure this time. See these? It's only supposed to go to there, right? But it kicked further. That little kick went there and took off that whole side. Right there. All right. So it's just going to get more and more narrow. That's all there is to it. It wants me to use a lot of force, but then it acts up. It doesn't behave. I can't get good flakes unless I apply a lot of pressure, but then it doesn't behave. You know, it will unpredictably run an overshot. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have to live with a bunch of flakeriness, and I won't get the kind of bold flaking that I like. Which is pretty common on Obsidian artifacts. Yeah, that's my consolation, that on Obsidian artifacts you get lots of flakeriness. Probably for that reason. It doesn't really like you doing those big bold flakes. Although you do see them on some artifacts because everyone wants to try to get them. It's much faster just to nap it with a bunch of big bold flakes, instead of having to take forever to do these small flakes. Bunches of little small flakes. But it's safer to do lots of little small flakes. Right? It's, you know, you can, if you're trying to learn how to do this, you can do it exactly the way I do it. And it's going to look the same as far as technique goes, but you may not get good results. Don't worry, you'll get it eventually. Just keep doing the same thing over and over again until you get different results. Yeah. And it's not insanity. It's called Flintknapping practice. Practicing Flintknapping is insanity. Yeah, according to everybody in the world. Because you got to do the same thing over and over again until you get different results. So you can see, you can watch two people do pressure flaking, and it's exactly the same technique, angles, pressure, and everything, and one guy does it a lot better than the other guy, as an example. Why is that? Because of very subtle differences due to practice. Same with shooting a bow and arrow. Two guys, same form, same equipment, same arrows, same target, same wind. Everything same, but one guy is shooting bullseyes and the other guy isn't. But you look at them both and you can't tell which one's shooting bullseyes unless you look at the target. They're using exactly the same technique. One guy is shooting bullseyes and the other guy isn't. Why is that? Because of practice. Same in Flintknapping. Archery is the same in Flintknapping. You got to do the same thing over and over and over again until you get different results. You got to keep doing it until you hit bullseyes. And it's the same technique over and over again. What's the bullseye in Flintknapping? The bullseye is the flake that you want. Yeah, the more you practice, the easier it is to control the initial conditions. So when you shoot the flake, it has a less chance of misbehaving or going in the wrong direction or whatever. Okay? There's just subtle tweaks between the expert and the novice. Subtle tweaks. Subtle adjustments. And getting used to everything. Getting adapted to it. Letting your subconscious take over a lot of the complicated stuff. Maybe you need to work on your strength on the side. Maybe you need to stop drinking as much coffee so you don't have the shakes. You know, all kinds of stuff can influence napping and whatever. All right, so I'm going to go back into doing those big flakes. with a little bit less force so I don't overshoot. But it's not as thin as I would like, so I'm going to be doing those bigger flakes. And every flake is slightly different. The initial conditions, the surfaces are different. The edge is slightly different. I'm not doing the same thing every time. It might look that way, but every flake is different. On an irregular surface, every flake is different. But just subtle differences. I'm still not getting it. It's still not behaving exactly the way I want because I took too much off. It scooped it out too much. If I was more careful, yeah, if I took more time, like if I took twice as much time, it would be, I would make less mistakes, yes. But we're in a live stream. Can't take forever. We're on a video. It might be more interesting to see a big blade being done, but most artifacts are not that big. That's my excuse for doing the small ones, yeah. Besides, I like the smaller ones better. Can you see? Try to give you an angle that you can see. And I don't want to hold it too close to the camera like this because sometimes it gets real blurry if it focuses on my thumb, for instance. So when I start napping, if I'm really close, sometimes it gets real blurry. It's hard for me to keep track of blurry and non-blurry. Besides, I think you can zoom in. Once the live stream's over, if you really need to see it up close, you can zoom in. But I keep it a little bit further away so it stays focused and not blurry. In case you're wondering. And yeah, I probably need a smaller tip on the flaker on some of these. Yeah. Change the size of the flaker, it gives you a different size flake. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted. That's why I say, oh well. I can't be using it the whole time. I'm trying to get large flakes. If you're wondering what I'm doing and why I'm messing up the edge in some cases or not, looking like I don't know what I'm doing, I'm trying to get larger flakes. I don't want a bunch of little bitty flakes. So I'm taking chances and pushing hard like I was before, but I'm trying not to overdo it. I want large flakes, relatively speaking. I don't want like hundreds of little bitty flakes. But I think I'm going to have to go to the little flakes. Just so I can finish this out. I'm losing too much width. I'm trying for the larger flakes. So I've already done the hard part, right? But this part is just very tedious. It's not difficult, it's just tedious. After a while, you get used to pressure flaking, but you understand that it takes forever to get something nice. You know, with copper, pressure flaking is a little bit different because it's more predictable. You know, I have to use a fatter tip in general on Antler so it won't break. And yeah, I do have smaller tips. But if you can zoom in on that, you can see that it's not that predictable. These smaller tips, they do break off. And they do funny things. Like, you know, it'll wear out and I won't see that it wore out. And then it won't give me the kind of flake I want. You know, a little piece will break off from here, and I'm thinking that it's still not broken. It's nice and smooth, and it'll give me a weird flake because a little piece broke off the antler. So I have to keep checking it. But if I'm in the zone, I normally don't like to keep checking on the flaker. Okay, so that tip is thinned down pretty good. Let's do the rest. Let's see here. I'm using heavy pressure again, but I'm holding back a little bit so I don't bite into the edge too much. I might have to use percussion again to get that lumpy area out. Yeah, see how lumpy that is? I just tried a flake here, but it didn't work. A little bit too crunchy. Yeah. The surface needs to be nice and smooth for a predictable flake. Now, how'd they do it back in the day? Well, they took a lot more time making sure that the surface is smooth. You can't get past the physics. The physics says you need a smooth surface, so they obviously had a smooth surface that they were knapping into to get the nice flakes. I'm eventually going to make that lump go away, but it might not be pretty. Yeah, good. I'm using heavy pressure, but hopefully it won't overshoot. And some people say, yeah, you can make the pad protect you from overshots if you push up against the pad. I just don't like it when it does that, because like right there, it did push into the pad. There's no notch in the pad, so there's no free flaking. But it ends up stepping sometimes, which is a bummer. Yeah. It didn't overshoot, but it's got a step fracture now. And yeah, I did push into the pad. I can keep it elevated off the pad. See how I'm doing that? And hopefully it only goes halfway. Sometimes, like earlier, I pushed a little bit too hard and it didn't matter. Even if I pushed into the pad, it still overshot the whole thing. Yes, no. It kind of tried to do it. feel like just getting the copper out and getting rid of that mess. Yeah. Much more predictable with the copper. I could try the pad that has a notch in it. I'm not supposed to use that pad because it's part of my modern tool set. Where did it go? Let's try a notched pad. That might be one of the reasons why I'm not getting longer flakes. I'm getting longer flakes when I don't want to, though. These overshots are not being shy. That did work. Yeah, got a big flake. Let's see. Yeah, it likes the free flakes. All right, so the pad was interfering with it. Yeah. Can't be dropping it. There's too many hard objects down there. After I get that lump out, I'm going to check the chat. I'm going to use the notched pad to see if that flake will run free. That was kind of good. It was a bigger flake there. Kind of good. Yeah. So yeah, I need to make myself a primitive looking notched pad. Yeah, especially for the Obsidian. Yep. I'm just working on symmetry. Pretty sure I know what I'm going to make now. Yeah, this likes the free flakes. Okay. Good to know. Luckily, I did not overshoot again. Those could have been overshots because I actually applied more pressure there than before. Strange how that works. Okay, so that's close enough, right? It's as thin as it needs to go. I've got a good center line in it. It's got a good center line. I don't know, the blurriness drives me nuts. It's mahogany obsidian, it's not triple flow. Yeah, it's just straight mahogany obsidian. It's got no clear spots in it. If it had clear spots in it or streaks, it would be triple flow, but it's not triple flow. It's just straight snap and half-inch type mahogany obsidian. What do I call it in the beginning of the video? I call it dirt rocks. I started out with dirt rocks. Rocks you find on the surface of the dirt. Yeah. You got to rewind the video to see. There's a step fracture on the other side that I've been neglecting. I got to get rid of that. See that little steppy looking area? Let's see. I thought I was going to take the track. But nope, not yet. Let's see if we can do this without breaking it. Yes. Yeah, we got some of that out. Still got some on this side. I don't know if it'll do it. If I take one more flake, I might mess it up. It's because it'll get too thin. Yep, and there's such a thing as getting too thin. It'll get too thin right there if I take another flake in there to get that smoother, so I'm going to stop. It'll be too thin if I continue. Yeah, I'm losing a lot of the edge. But I want to thin that base down more. Yes, yeah. Yeah, like that. But I lost some edge. I lost some of the edge. So all that's left now is to sharpen it. It's thin enough. I'm going to pick a 4-shaft. So I can see what kind of notching I'm going to do. Is it a ladle dart point? Yeah, it's a ladle dart point. None of these 4-shaft notches are deep enough. Yeah. one might be deep enough. No. I guess it could also be an arrow point. But yeah, with these double pointed, it needs a deep notch. I don't have anything with a really deep notch. Anyways, we'll work on it in a minute. It's already almost 10, but I want to do some notching and some sharpening on this. I'll pause right here to just get a thumbnail, I guess. Thumbnail picture. Or I'll be able to screenshot this later, maybe. Okay, let's look at the chat. How does that compare to what the agate from yesterday? Or the last live stream I did this agate. Off camera, I made it more symmetrical. Yeah. So this is almost as big as that one. But I lost a lot of this due to overshots. Remember that? I lost a lot due to the overshots. So I had to keep whittling it down and whittling it down. What do we got? Let's see. Let's go to the end and see. The agate was cool, says Austin. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I want to see it again. It's got some translucency too. It's nice. That was on the last live stream on Slab Wednesday. But I off camera, I just picked around the edges and made it more symmetrical. Yeah. But I also had an overshot on this one also. It made it a lot more narrow and smaller. Let's see. Do the fragments ever cut your hand? Yeah, sometimes. You know, I get little cuts like this. Mostly. Let's see. Who is living on top of the other nappers' lives? Dude tends to go live right on top of other nappers' lives. Who's this? Hey, Jose Garcia says hola. How you doing? Frank Savory. We got new guys in the chat today. Bowman's Nappings is here. Ted just gave me 20. Oh yeah, Ted, $20. Ted Lundgren. Thank you, thank you. I didn't see that one earlier. Awesome. This is my gas fund is getting pretty large. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. Marty YB has got to head out. Okay. Let's see here. Who are you guys talking about? Okay, the weirdo. What is ARS 100? What currency is that? Well, thank you very much. That looks awesome, he says. Thank you, thank you. I gotta look that up. Let me see here. Prairie Ghost Ken is here. Andrew Muntz, Zup. I missed everybody's entrance. Well, not everybody's, but a lot of people's entrance. A lot of people that I know. How much does a piece of basic obsidian cost? I've always been interested in bushcraft and outdoorsmanship, but never had the opportunity to make one. Well, Obsidian costs more than regular glass. I would just recommend using glass bottle bottoms for your first arrowheads. They're free, as long as you get the bottles for free. Or even if you don't, you buy stuff in bottles. Try to get the largest bottles you can. Like if you buy bottled water in glass bottles, as an example, get the largest ones you can. If you can get, 32 ounce and 40 ounce beer bottles, the 40 ounce are much better, but they don't make those very much anymore. The larger the bottles, the better, and the darker the color, the better. Let's see. I've been liking these surround sound earbuds. Yeah, I'm just using my phone's microphone right now because my other microphones are on the fritz. I had to periodically buy more microphones, but it's still cheaper than buying the expensive one for like $400. I might have to buy it though. Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking for questions. I didn't see any. Austin says, I made my first knapping tools from Antler. I learned that I'm not quite strong enough to knock the chips off. I just roll the antler off the edge and hurt my hands. Any advice would be great. How old are you, Austin? If you're just a young kid, then it's going to be difficult for you. James says, the mics are definitely one of those buy once and cry once items. Yeah, I got to invest in a high dollar one if I want a reliable one, I suppose. Hey, Jim Cooper's here. I just got surgery to remove a splinter of obsidian. Okay. Oh, yeah, I think I saw you earlier, Jim. Let's see. That agate looks tasty, says Mike Mason. All right, so I got to figure out what I'm going to make. I'm going to put some notches in it. This is it so far. The one I made tonight. Okay. I encountered some crunchiness in the middle. I got it out on this side pretty much, but on this side, there's a little bit still left, but it's okay. I just got to figure out what I'm going to do as far as the point style. If I leave it with a long pointed base, I need a deeper notch on my foreshafts. Uh-oh, what did I do? Where did they go? I want to haft it. That's what I'm doing. I can go till 10:30. I want to haft this one. Put it in a haft and then wrap it with sinew. And I don't know if I'm going to use an arrow foreshaft or an little dart foreshaft. This is a typical little dart foreshaft. But to get it to fit in this, I'm going to have to lose a lot of the base. Unless I deepen that notch. If I take a break, or if, hold on, I'm gonna use the bandsaw here in a second. Let's see. I'm gonna deepen this notch. Hold on. The live stream's supposed to be over anyway, so hold on. I'm gonna deepen this notch on the bandsaw. Okay. If you got headphones, sorry about that, but I deepened that notch so it'd be more reasonable for hafting. See that? I just crudely cut that notch deeper by another 1/4 inch or so I can haft it. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take some off the base, flatten it out, and I'm going to add some side notches and some serrations. Okay, all right. Yes, yes. No, no. Who said no? Nobody said no. Then we're good. Yep. So just a matter of removing a little bit off the base. So we're just as wide, or just maybe slightly wider than the foreshaft. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so it fits nice and snug. See that? Before it was kind of loose. Now that I took a little bit off the base, it's nice and snug in the notch. And it usually fits better in one direction than the other. And yeah, I cheated and used the bandsaw. This is supposed to be an all-natural tool session, but in the spirit of trying to do it faster, I used the bandsaw. Yeah. So now I just got to do side notches. But see, the base needs to be as wide as the foreshaft. It could be a little bit wider. That gives it a nice seat when it's just exactly the same width. Let's try that. It still needs to be a little bit wider. The most strength is when it's just the same width. And yeah, on the artifacts, you can kind of assume that the width of the base on points like this is the width of the foreshaft. You can't always tell because sometimes it's just a point. But when it's flat, you can assume that it's going to be the same width as the wood itself. Yeah, much better. Okay, so now I'm going to put little side notches in here. Okay. Now my favorite part. Notching. Is it my favorite? Sometimes it depends on the notches. Like everything, it depends. Sometimes I enjoy it. I've been trying to practice the narrow entry notching. I say trying because it takes time and I can't do very many. I can't do very many practice sessions, but I am enjoying that one. Believe it or not. See, this is my favorite notching tool. Okay, so simple side notches. Simple Simon. Yeah. And then I'm gonna do little bitty serrations on the top, or on the upper edge. Yeah, it fits better that direction, nice and straight. And yeah, it's not that great that the thickness is a little bit off. It should be thickest right here where the transition is between the wood and the stone, instead of having it thin right here and then thicker up here. I could try to thin this down more so we get more of a taper, because that's a weak spot. If it's really thin right here where it's next to the wood, I need to figure out why it doesn't look straight anymore. Somehow I need to take off some more material off this one. Hold on a second. Yeah, so it looks straight in the haft. I need to thin this down a little bit more. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. Risky to take a big flake at this stage. But I just took a big flake across here. Let's see if that fits better. I don't know. I'm going to take a few more thinning flakes and that'll be it. And I'll sharpen it. Where is my... I don't like it when it's the thinnest right where it meets the wood. It should be the thickest right there. I mean, right where the wood ends. It should be the thickest. That way it doesn't create a weak spot. For looks, it doesn't matter, but for, you know, to show you how it's supposed to be done, if you're going to use it, it should not be weak right there. Dang it, there's a lot of thinning to do. So I'm getting back into thinning a little bit. Just bear with me. It's just bugging me that it's really thick up here. I'm assuming it's not going to take me very long to sharpen this. We still got quite a few people watching, which is good. Yeah. The bad part about thinning is you got to watch the symmetry. Anyway, I tried to thin it down more so that it's the thickest right where it meets the wood, or right where the wood ends. I keep saying meets the wood. You'll see. See what I mean? So right now I'm just working on the symmetry. And trying to get it thin at the same time. It's not working all that well because I keep messing with the very tip. Okay. It doesn't want to get sharpened. There we go. I was going to put little serrations in here, but I'm just going to sharpen it. That's it. I'm just picking off the dull spots with very short flakes on a. Oops, picking off the dull spots with very short flakes on with this spatula-looking tool. How long was I out of frame? That's not good. So I just pick off the dull spots with nice clean snaps, and it usually produces a sharp edge. There's ways to make the edge sharper than this with a pointed tool, but this is the fastest. There's slight inward pressure, in case you don't know. It's not just all downward pressure, because you want to try to get a little bulb of pressure going on the other side. When you push these off, it's good to get a little bulb of pressure. I keep wandering over here, don't I? Yeah, it's an lateral dart point. I decided it's an lateral dart point, and I deepened the notch on this. Let's see, I need to widen it at the bottom slightly more. Yes, thinner flake. At the bottom of the notch, I need to widen it slightly more because it's a little bit lopsided. Can you see what I'm doing? You can see those wood shavings come out, right? Yes, no. It's just a simple matter of using just a blade. But I used the bandsaw earlier. In case you're just joining me now, I'm squaring out the bottom of that notch. because I need the point to sit in there better. But this isn't that little dart foreshaft. And I wanted it to be thickest right where the wood ends, but it's not going to work out. Yeah. Oh well. Anyways. I was going to try to put little bitty serrations in the edge, but this is good enough. Let me see. See, I scooped it a little bit too much. See where that wood is? I wanted it to be thick right there on this side, but I scooped it a little bit too much. And then I went up here and I tapered it more so it wouldn't look so bad, but I still have a constriction right there, which makes it kind of weak, but it's all right. It's all right because I don't have time to fix it. And I want to make sure this fits in there straight. So I took a little bit off the bottom of the notch. Made it a little bit wider. Yeah, so it sits in there straight. And then I'm going to wrap it with sinew. Show you how it looks all nice and wrapped. Yeah. What's the size? Good thing you asked me. I was going to forget. It's 3 inch. I don't want to take it out because I got to put it back in the right way. It's right up, it's like 2 7/8. Yeah, 2 7/8. Okay. Where's my sinew? I'm not going to use glue. I'm not going to use a glue substitute. Sometimes I put modeling clay in there, but I'm just going to wrap it. Yeah. I should have my water in here too, right? Or no? Oh, if I don't have my water, I'm going to be highly disappointed. Where is it? I don't have my water. Oh well. I'm not prepared today at all. Just dry? Dry sinew? What good is that? It still works. I know why it's not. I know it's not going quickly because I got my glove on. Okay, so let's do this again. I'm just going to overlap. I don't have my regular Elmer's glue. I don't have my Hafting glue substitute. You know, my modeling clay, because I got all my stuff indoors because I'm packing up to go to my trip. I forgot that I was going to use it today. So those are my excuses. I want to see how this looks because I rarely do these type of contracting stem haftings. I'll make it neater in a minute. And I'd forgot my water. I usually have a little bowl of water ready. So this is dry sinew, but it gives you the same look. I just want to see how it looks. Yeah, okay, and then we'll spit to complete the process. Okay. So yeah, that's what I would do, except there's no hafting glue. I would normally put hafting glue in there, right? But that's the way I would wrap it. There's 3 strands of sinew there. And yeah, wrap it through the notch, and it's in that little dart point. And it's 2 7/8. And the width of it is 7/8. Yeah. Let's straighten it out. Let's see if it. I think I did not widen the base of that notch enough. It's still a little bit crooked, but I think it'll work. See, when I spin it, that point should stay there. If it would focus, it'd be nice. Let's see, it would wobble slightly or no. It's hard to keep it straight. Hold on. Focus? Yeah. I think it's good enough. Yeah, I'm just not holding it right or something. And it might also be slanted in that direction. If it would focus, it would be better. To me, it looks a little bit off. It doesn't look perfectly straight, but you know, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Yeah. See if I can hold it steady. I'm going to do a thumbnail like this, I think. Yeah, there is a slight wobble in there. So that means I would need to, readjust that notch. I don't want to push on this because it could snap the point. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to check the chat and say goodbye. That's it, 10:30. Beer 30. Let's see. Come on. Patrick, will you be doing a live on Monday, or are you traveling? I'm traveling on Monday. I will not be doing a live. Yeah, good question. But I'll do the auction still. I just won't have a live stream on Monday. Yeah, no live streams next week. Unless I can do one on Friday. I'll keep you posted with updates. Austin says, thank you all so much for the fun hangout. I really enjoyed chilling and talking with everybody. Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, no live stream on Monday. So the next live stream would be on Monday, but they're just going to be the auction and that's it. And there might not be that many items either. It depends on how productive I am in the next couple of days. Ted Lundgren says, I need to start saving the silver skin off of the back straps. We get quite a few here in Mississippi. Awesome. That'd be great. Yeah, I use backstrap sinew almost exclusively now. I was using leg tendon for a long time. Yeah, I got some long pieces. Backstrap is so much better overall, strength-wise and length-wise. Yeah, it's just highly expensive if you don't have free silver skins off the loins. Yeah, get a microwave kiln. Yep, someone's talking about microwave kiln. Let's see. Austin says, I'm trying to learn as much as I can. Yes, yes. Well, the resin will stabilize the point in the shaft. Yes. Dakota Horn is here. Hey, Dave, how's it going? Yeah, I was not prepared. I should have brought some resin glue. I could have adjusted the way it's seated inside the notch if I had some glue. Yeah. Alan Cole says it definitely does not suck. Okay. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, it drove me nuts for a while there because I had too many flakes go wild on this particular piece. I guess that's it, right? No questions? Yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. Yeah, you need to be saving the silver skins off your back straps. That's where the sinew comes from. Yeah. Save the silver skin and then scrape all the meat and fat off. Usually there's no fat, but scrape the meat off and then stretch the silver skin on a wooden board, like a cutting board. If your cutting board is not long enough, go get a board from the hardware store. I use the pine board. Or I use the pine. Last time I did back straps, I had some pine shelving boards. Something that won't rot, like pine. You don't want any mold on your stuff, or you don't want any nasty smells or bacterias. So use a pine or something, yeah. And just stretch out the silver skins, and they'll stick to the wood. Just let it dry like that, stuck to the wood, and they peel off after they're dry. And then you can separate the strands by just ripping them apart. Sandra Frederick says, from the way that looks to me, it would be careful. I'm pretty sure that Lou Diamond Phillips is going to bust in and try to take that back from you. Dakota, Dave, you're doing good. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. All right. Good night. Happy Easter. Yes. Happy Easter, everybody. Stonehook says happy Easter. If I don't see you, I don't see you. But I will be doing at least one video from the Knapping. Hopefully 2 or more because, I'll be there for 3 or 4 days. I'm hoping I can do a live stream Friday night from the Knapping. Everybody has a good time on Friday night, so it would be awesome to do a live stream. I'm going to bring my computer so I can shoot the live stream from my computer. It worked well that way last time. Let's see. Can you explain or quickly demonstrate reverse percussion for Austin? The reverse percussion? Yeah. Let's see. That's a good question. I have a video on it, but I can show you real fast. You need 2 things. You need something that holds the percussion flaker. You need a small mallet or a hammer. Hold on. Okay, so you need something to hold the percussion flaker. Usually it's stuck in the ground or stuck in a piece of wood, like a wood stump. Okay, this is just elk antler, and it's ground down, so it's normally a pressure flaker, right? So I'm going to anchor it here between my knees here, and then I have a hammer. You need a little hammer. And what you do is you act like a crazy maniac, and you place the item on the flaker, and then you hit the item to remove a flake. Like that. And you flip it over. It's usually used for notching, okay? So don't get crazy about it. See, that's why it's a crazy thing, because you can easily break what you're working on. That was thin. To be fair, that was already really thin. Okay, so you hit the workpiece and it produces a flake. See that? And it's used mainly for notching. See that? It's like a vertical punch in reverse. Now you can do it for regular napping. I mean, you can, but you'll be hitting the edge. If you want to nap the edge, you'll be hitting the other edge, which is very awkward. What you want to be doing is hitting the surface. So it's best for trimming. And yeah, the flakes are hitting me in the face. So wear your glasses. But this is reversed indirect. You can see how that's working, right? Do we have sufficient lighting? So you can see it's an effective edge trimmer and notcher. But for generating long flakes, it's not going to do it. Now, generating bevels, yeah, you can generate bevels with it. But again, the flakes are hitting me in the face. So you got to wear eye protection or move your face out of the way, which presents an awkward type of situation. If you move your head out of the way, you can do it that way, but these flakes are flying up into my face. But I don't care, because I'm a Flintknapper. Yeah. You see how it puts a little bevel on there? So you can bevel the edge with it. You can create notches. And I guess sometimes you can generate long flakes across the surface if you do it right. Right? It's always, yeah, you just gotta do it right. Just do it. Don't mess it up. And hit this. You can generate flakes, see that? But you gotta hit the other edge, which means it's gotta be dull. So what are you gonna do on the other side? I don't know. Now, when I generated that one, this is not dull on this side, but I'm crunching it. But, you know, the first question I get from newbies is, can you use it for generating long flakes? Maybe that's a way to flute. You can flute with it and blah, blah, blah. They just get all crazy and carried away, and they ask the zillion questions. What they need to do is just try it and see what misery it creates. Because it creates lots of misery, especially if you want to do long flakes. Okay? Now, yeah, you're forgetting to grind it. Okay, I'm going to grind it. I just want to show you, okay? Believe me, I've tried all kinds of ways to do this. Come on. Did it do it? I'm actually napping this side. The flake just came off of this side, not this side. All right, so if you want to do this miserable way and try to get long flakes, by all means, miserize yourself. Okay? I hope that helps. See that? Where do you hit it? Well, you can hit it anywhere that you feel comfortable. But hitting it close to the source of the flake is best, I guess. It depends on what it looks like, though. If you got a barb sitting in here and you hit too close, you might knock the barb off. But you can see how that works, right? Yes? Okay. I'm not looking at the chat, so I don't know if that's a yes or no. And now I got flakes all over myself. The flakes fly up in your face and stuff. Okay? Let's see. Austin says, I don't have the money to buy stone. I got to use whatever I can find while pointing out. I got a toaster oven for heat treating, though. Awesome. He did say it is crazy while pointing out good use practices. Yeah. Yeah, great. Dakota Horn says it's an easy way to cause a break that you don't want. Yes. You got a stream you wanted me to see, Tommy? Who's here? Carl Ritchie's here. Border used to do that type of knapping as an anvil to produce hand axes. Border? Who's Border? I'm going to say goodnight. So you guys that just came into the chat, you came in at the end. How do I take out bigger flakes with little strength and not very good coordination? With indirect percussion, like I always use, the behind the knee thing. Yeah, that's it. That's how you take bigger flakes with a little bit of strength and not very good coordination. You need to use indirect percussion. Okay? Or you can also get good at billets. But sometimes you need a lot of strength to get that billet moving fast. Okay? It's easier to get the mallet moving fast than the billet, because the mallet is just the same strike every time. It doesn't need to be accurate. With a billet, you need to be accurate. So indirect's the best. Okay? Let's see. Is that it? That's it, I think. Did I say hi to everybody that gave me a super chat? Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Yeah. Next live stream is probably going to be Friday night. Tonight's Friday. And 1 week from today is probably the next live stream. I'll be on the road. That's why I'm delaying. We're not having live streams until 1 week from today. So yeah, plan on 1 week from today unless I say otherwise. And maybe I'll upload a different video, but it won't be a live video. It'll be just like a walk around at the Knapping. Okay, that's it for tonight, everybody. I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go straight to sleep. What's your genre? My genre is, what is it? How to and style. That's my category on YouTube, if that's what you mean. My category is how to and style. I do Flintknapping. How to mainly, and a lot of chat. Yeah, thanks guys for showing up. It's good to see everybody. Hope I didn't miss anybody. Hope I didn't miss anybody's questions. Let's see. Yeah, every Friday I do natural tool knapping, so I'm going to be bringing my natural tools to the Knapping. So next Friday is going to be natural tool knapping. Oh yes, even though it's misery. All right, we'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.